But looking at the results of the election, I mean, one thing that stood out was the Green Party's not doing as well. In some cases, far-right MEPs doing better. Does this mean that the mandate for the Green Deal, the public mandate for that, is not there anymore? And therefore, should politicians have an incentive not to go as fast on implementing it?
The way I read the results is, first of all, when we look at the European hemisphere, it has changed somewhat to the right, but not as dramatically as many people would have thought. Secondly, the message I take from the voters is not, let's forget about the Green Deal. It's about, now we've done green policy, let's move on to some of the other pressing challenges. Not forget about the Green Deal, but let's do those other things that are also important. The world has changed dramatically in the last 5 years. We have war on the European continent. We have a very different China. We have a US that's in a different position, and we don't know exactly where it's going.
So what are some of those other things that you'd like to see happening?
So I think we need to distinguish between what does our sector want from a new parliament, and what do we see as the bigger meta agenda that's emerging. And if we start with the latter, there's no doubt that security is in a completely different place than it was 5 years ago. We need to take this seriously, and we need to address that urgent and pressing challenge of having a very hostile Russia right next door. That's going to cost money, and it's going to cost political focus, and we should give it that focus. For the energy sector, that means we need to think differently about security supply. The second thing we need to think about is, what is the future of Europe as an industrial manufacturer? We're seeing both the US and China play completely different when it comes to industrial policies. We're seeing trade collapse, and we're seeing FDI move very rapidly downwards. So we're in a different world where investments are being realigned with new, let's say, geopolitical demarcation lines. And we need to be clear about the fact that the energy transition rests upon our ability to be able to source new solar panels, new grid lines, and so on and so forth. A lot of equipment that we need to put up. And we don't want to end up in a new dependency on those materials, just as we had a dependency on Russian gas.
Absolutely. When it comes to expanding the grid, you're talking about innovative regulatory solutions. Does this mean a lot more pylons? And are you talking about not giving people who will be living close to those pylons a say in whether they're put up or not?
I think, first of all, we need to be very clear that if we want half of society to run on electricity by 2040, and that's the plan that's set out by the Commission, that means change. Today, it's around 23% of society that runs on electricity, and it goes without saying that if we want to double that in 15 years, yes, we're going to see more grids. It means, yes, we're going to see more wind turbines. Yes, we're going to see more solar panels and other equipment, by the way. So I think we need to be very clear and honest about that, and we need to have that conversation with citizens, with local authorities, that if you say A, we want decarbonization and electrification, you have to say B, yes, we're also going to be fine with the equipment that goes along with that.